Many people do not really suffer because their life is terrible. They suffer because their mind always focuses on things that are not perfect. They might have a family, a job, good health, opportunities, and many good things around them. But instead of seeing what they have, they only look at what they lack, what they have lost, or things that make them unhappy. And when a person keeps complaining, comparing, and regretting, no matter how full their life is, they still feel empty inside. Today, I want to confirm a very clear message. Our purpose in this world is happiness. Happiness does not start from having everything. Happiness starts from how we look at life, being thankful for small things, and learning to find peace with ourselves. Because after all, our purpose in this world is not just to be more successful, to have more, or to get more attention. Perhaps, the most important thing is learning how to live a happier life. There is a famous study from Harvard University called the Harvard Study of Adult Development. It is considered one of the longest studies ever conducted on human life and happiness. For more than 75 years, researchers followed the lives of 724 men from the time they were teenagers until many of them became old men in their 80s and 90s. Their lives went in many different directions. Some became very successful. One of them even became a U.S. president, John F. Kennedy. Some became wealthy. But others struggled deeply. Some lost their way, faced alcoholism, mental health challenges, or painful losses in life. Year after year, the researchers interviewed them about their work, their families, their emotions, and their relationships. They also studied their physical health in detail. And through this lifelong project, they were trying to understand one simple but powerful question. What truly helps a person stay healthy, happy, and fulfilled throughout life? It sounds simple, right? But actually, this is probably one of the biggest questions in life. What truly makes a happy life? We spend many years looking for happiness. Some people look for it in money. Some people look for it in success. Some people look for it in attention, status, or a life that others admire. And those things are not wrong. Money can make life easier. Success can open more opportunities. Attention can make us feel more valuable for a moment. But after decades of following people's lives, the Harvard study shows a very thoughtful truth. What keeps people happy and healthy in the long run is not how rich they are, how famous they are, or how hard they work. It is the quality of the relationships in their lives. Professor Robert Waldinger, the current director of this study, concluded very clearly, good relationships keep us happier and healthier. And that makes me stop and think. Because it turns out, happiness is not just about what we achieve, but also about having someone to love, someone to trust, someone to come back to, and more importantly, whether we can still connect with ourselves. This sounds very simple, but the more I think about it, the more it makes me stop and reflect. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why do some people already have many things but still feel empty inside? Some people have a beautiful house, a good job, and a life that looks very desirable from the outside. But they still do not feel real peace inside. This is the paradox of happiness. We often spend a lot of time chasing the things that make us look happy. A better job, a higher salary, a more beautiful house, or a more successful image in other people's eyes. But while we are busy running after these things, sometimes we forget the simple things that are very close to us. A warm meal, an honest conversation, someone who is still by our side, or a new morning when we wake up and still have a chance to begin again. Maybe many people do not really lack reasons to be happy. They are just too focused on what they do not have, and they forget to see the precious things they already have. There are days when just one small thing that does not go our way is enough to make the whole day feel heavy. Maybe our effort is not recognized by others. Maybe someone does something careless and makes us feel sad for the whole day. Maybe everything around us does not happen the way we hoped. And then, from one small problem in the day, our mind starts to bring up many other thoughts. Is my life always like this? Am I not good enough? Will things never get better? But my friend, this is how sadness tricks us. It makes one bad moment look like a whole bad life. It is like a person holding a glass of dirty water and thinking that all the water in the river is dirty too. But the truth is, one tiring event cannot represent your whole life. You have already gone through many difficult times before, and this time, you will be able to get through it too. One hard season does not mean your future is closed. So happiness is not about forcing yourself to be happy when your heart is hurting. Happiness is also not about pretending that everything is okay. Happiness is when you know you are sad, but you do not let that sadness decide the whole way you look at life. If today in front of you, there is a glass of dirty water, something that disappoints you, someone who hurts you, or a result that is not what you expected, please remember that it is only one glass of water, not the whole river. Do not let one bad moment trick you into believing that your whole life is bad. Do not let one pain make you forget that good things have not disappeared. In front of you, there is still a wide river. There are still people who love you, other chances, new days, and a stronger version of you waiting to keep moving forward. Happiness is your right from the very moment you were born and cried for the first time. But as we grow older, many of us forget this. We start to believe that we must achieve something first before we have the right to be happy. We must be more successful, richer, more recognized, a more perfect version of ourselves. Only then do we allow ourselves to feel enough. And just like that, we place our happiness somewhere very far away. At the end of a goal, behind a number in our bank account, inside other people's praise, in some future that even we do not know when we can reach. But if you keep waiting for everything to be perfect before you allow yourself to be happy, maybe you will have to wait your whole life. Because in this life, there will always be something unfinished, a worry that has not disappeared, a goal that has not been reached, someone who does not understand you, or a wound that is not fully healed. Happiness cannot only be a reward at the end of the road. Because if it is, during the long journey before you get there, what will you live on? How will you love yourself? Where will you find the strength to keep moving forward? Do not place your happiness at some milestone in the future. Right now, you still have something worth treasuring. Look back for a moment. Are the things you have now actually the things you once wished for in the past? A job that may be stressful, but still helps you support yourself. A body that may feel tired, but is still carrying you through life. A few friends who may be few, but are willing to listen when you call. We are so busy looking at the things we do not have, that we forget this truth. The things we already have may also be the dream of many other people. There is a saying that I think is very worth thinking about. Happiness is not about having more and more, but about knowing how to let go of what is not necessary. At first, this may sound strange because we often think we need more money, more success, or more fame before we can be happy. I understand that feeling. It is very hard to talk about happiness to someone whose heart is full of worries about money, daily life, too much work, or wounds that have not healed yet. In those moments, the word happiness sounds very far away and even like a luxury. But actually, the most tiring moments are the moments when we need to learn how to let go of unnecessary burdens. Letting go does not mean giving up your dreams or stopping your effort. It means cleaning your mind so it can feel lighter. Please do not forget this. This world has thousands of kinds of flowers. There are elegant roses and bright sunflowers, but a small wildflower by the road also has its own beauty. They do not compete to see who blooms more beautifully. They simply bloom. You are the same. You do not need to be a copy of anyone. Just the fact that you are here in this life, breathing, and trying every day is already a miracle. For a long time, we have kept running after expectations, forcing ourselves to compare, and carrying so many burdens that do not belong to us. And then, we make ourselves exhausted. So please wake up and look at this again. Happiness is not the destination where you finally have everything. Happiness begins when you dare to let go of unnecessary burdens. Letting go is not giving up. It is cleaning your mind to welcome peace. You do not need to be perfect to deserve happiness. You only need to stop hurting yourself with meaningless standards. Allow yourself to rest, to feel weak sometimes, and to live honestly with yourself. When your heart becomes lighter, you will naturally feel happiness from the small things around you. When you choose to let go of unnecessary burdens, you will create more space inside yourself to feel happiness from the simple things around you every day. So how can we practice happiness every day? Especially during the times when life feels too heavy and overwhelming. I think the first thing is this. Do not make happiness into something too big or too far away. Many people think happiness means always being cheerful, always being positive, and always full of energy. But that is not true. During difficult times, sometimes happiness simply means you have not given up yet. It means you still woke up this morning. You are still breathing. You are still trying to get through one more day, even when your heart does not feel okay. Please do not look down on small things like that. In some seasons of life, just not falling apart is already a kind of strength. So if today feels too heavy for you, please do not try to fix your whole life in one night. You do not need to solve all your pressure right now. You only need to make this present moment feel a little lighter. With one deep breath. With one slow step. By turning off some unnecessary noise. By allowing yourself to rest without feeling guilty. And if you can, gently ask yourself one simple question. Right now, what can I do to make my heart hurt a little less? Maybe it is going to bed early. Maybe it is writing down the things that are making you tired. Maybe it is saying no to something that is taking away your energy. Or maybe it is simply placing your hand on your chest, breathing slowly, and reminding yourself, I am still trying. And that is enough for today. In the end, happiness is not always something bright and beautiful. Sometimes happiness is a very quiet choice. The choice to stop making yourself suffer more. The choice to stand by yourself. The choice to keep being kind to yourself, even when life is still not perfect. And maybe that is also the message of today's episode. Our purpose in this world is happiness. We do not come into this world only to chase pressure, to prove our value, or to live a life that always pleases other people. We are also here to learn how to be more peaceful, more loving, more grateful and happier in a way that truly belongs to us. I will always be here, in the next episodes of the Heal and Grow podcast, so that we can learn English together, heal together, and remind each other to come back and stand by ourselves. And the only sentence I want you to take with you today is, I am choosing to stand by myself. From today, I choose to stand by myself. Hi there, it's Wendy again. Welcome back to the Heal and Grow podcast. where small thoughts grow into big strengths. Have you ever scrolled through social media and seen people showing off, like bought a house at 20, financially free at 25, or have it all at 30? At first, we might think these stories are just inspiring. But the more you look at them, the more you start to doubt yourself and feel bad, just because you aren't there yet. These perfect standards on social media make us too hard on ourselves. We get so busy looking at other people's big wins that we forget to celebrate our own quiet hard work. You might ignore all your own efforts and feel like you are not good enough just because you haven't done something huge yet. And that is why today, we are going to talk about something that sounds simple, but is so easy to forget: becoming your own biggest fan. Part 1. The encouragement we often forget. Since we were little, many of us were taught to be humble. We learned to look at what we are missing so we can try harder. That is not wrong. We need to be humble to learn, and we need to see our limits to grow. But the problem starts when we confuse being humble with putting ourselves down. We are afraid to give ourselves credit because we worry it means we are arrogant. We are scared to say we worked hard because others might think we are showing off. We are always told to focus on what we haven't achieved yet. But we are rarely taught how to look back at the difficult things we have quietly overcome. Because of this, many people grow up with a terrible belief that they can only be proud of themselves when they are perfect, highly successful, or praised by everyone. But you know what? Being kind to yourself is not the same as being arrogant. Giving yourself credit doesn't mean you think you are better than everyone else. It just means you are fair. You see your hard work, not just your mistakes. You can only truly grow when you are brave enough to see what you need to improve, but also fair enough to celebrate what you have survived. Of course, we all need to learn, change, and adapt to become better every day. But along the way, let's also remember to be proud of ourselves. Be proud of how hard we have tried on this journey. Don't be too hard on yourself for the things you haven't achieved yet. That is exactly what I tell myself every single day. And now, I want to share this with you, the person listening right now. Don't turn your back on yourself when you need your own support the most. Because even if the whole world doubts you, you must be on your own side. Don't wait for the world to recognize you before you start recognizing yourself. Part 2. Don't wait for the world to recognize you. Have you ever noticed this strange truth? It is so easy to give your kindest words to a friend. You cheer them on when they fall down. You remind them of their worth, and you tell them that one mistake does not define their whole life. But when you make a mistake, you become your own worst critic. Just like that, on the hard days when we need support the most, we accidentally forget our own hard-working self. We do this because of a hurtful belief. If we don't shine bright enough, we don't deserve to be proud. We are so used to looking outside for approval, always chasing other people's standards. But ancient Stoic philosophy teaches us something important. What matters is not the applause from the crowd. What really matters is living true to your own values and mind. In other words, your worth should not be put entirely in other people's hands. Also, there is a simple truth we often forget. Friends, family, or partners, no matter how much they love you, will sometimes be busy with their own lives, or one day they might leave. The only person who is with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from the moment you are born until you close your eyes, is you. So, don't wait for the world to recognize you before you start recognizing yourself. The first person who needs to see your effort, stand by your side, and tell you that you did a great job today is no one else but you. Part 3. Why are you so hard on yourself? We look at other people's pain with kind eyes, but we use a magnifying glass to find every single one of our own mistakes. Giving ourselves credit, it turns out, is the hardest thing in the world. Psychologist Edward Higgins once shared a theory called the self-discrepancy theory. Simply put, inside each of us, there are usually 3 versions of ourselves. First is your current self, the person who is living, trying, making mistakes, and learning every day. Second is your ideal self, the person you want to be, stronger, better, more successful, and calmer. And third is the person you think you must be. You must be successful at a certain age, make a lot of money, please your family, never fail, and always look perfect to society. The problem starts here. Every time you look at your current self and see that you are too far from those other 2 versions, you start to suffer. You feel disappointed, worried, and not good enough. And instead of seeing that you are just in the process of growing, you become your own worst critic. You see your mistakes very clearly, but you forget the days you quietly tried your best. You remember the one time you fell down, but you forget how many times you stood back up. You know what? When I learned about this theory, I realized something. The gap between your current self and your ideal self is not there for you to blame yourself. It just shows us where we are, where we want to go, and what we need to learn to move forward. So don't let your better version become a pressure that makes you feel like you are never good enough. Turn it into a map to help you understand how you need to grow. Becoming your own strongest support. So how can you truly become a strong support for yourself? You just need to remember these 3 things. The first thing is, apply the best friend test. Every time you make a mistake, instead of calling yourself useless, ask yourself, if my best friend made this mistake, how would I comfort them? You would not yell at them, right? You would tell them to stay calm and try again. So why are you being cruel and denying that kindness to yourself? The second thing is, don't turn your back on yourself. Learn to treat yourself fairly. If you do something wrong, fix it. If you are tired, rest. If you are slow, just keep taking small steps. Never let a hard time define your whole worth. Also, don't wait until you reach the top to let yourself be proud. Some days, just waking up, pushing forward, and choosing not to give up, that is already the biggest victory. Be there for yourself in the moments when no one sees your hard work. Remind yourself, you are not perfect yet, but you are improving. You haven't reached the finish line, but you are still walking. You might have fallen down, but your legs are still strong enough to stand back up. As we grow older, we deeply realize the strongest support is not out there in the world, but it is the calm voice deep inside you. A voice forgiving enough not to push you down further, warm enough to lift you up, and brave enough to say, I am still here, and I will never abandon myself. The last thing is, celebrate small wins. Personally, I used to be stuck in the thought that only huge milestones are worth celebrating. But the more I experience, the more I realize this truth. Life does not move forward by giant leaps, but by tiny efforts added up every day. Every time you take a small action to stop putting things off, every time you push through laziness to move one step closer to your goal, you have the right to be proud of yourself. Bravely getting out of bed on a very tiring morning, daring to say no to an unfair request, or simply stopping the negative voice in your head today. These are all priceless wins. Don't wait until you stand on the top of success to allow yourself to smile. Clap for yourself even when you just step over a small puddle. Because after all, a successful and complete life is actually built from countless small days like that. Today you are proud and happy. Tomorrow you are happy. This week you are happy. Just patiently collect them like that. And those small days will come together to make a happy, bright, and proud life. Part 5. The Invincible Summer Within You. Today, we sit here to remind each other of something simple but easily forgotten. Be your own best friend. Sometimes we get so busy chasing the standards out there that we forget something. Just bravely waking up every morning, quietly comforting yourself when you are tired, and patiently moving forward through so much pressure. That is already an amazing effort worth appreciating. To close this podcast episode, I want to share a beautiful quote from the philosopher Albert Camus. In his most tiring, broken, and doubtful years, he found a bright truth to save his own soul. In the middle of the deepest winter, I finally realized that there was an invincible summer inside me. I believe that all of us will eventually have to go through our own freezing winters. Those are the days you feel lost, slow, and sad when you look at the shiny lives of others. But you know what? In the moments when you want to give up the most, the thing that lifts us up is sometimes not magic, nor the applause from the crowd. It is simply the moment you decide, I will not turn my back on myself. That invincible summer is actually not far away. It is the kindness, the patience, and the strong belief that you keep for yourself, even when life has not treated you gently. No matter how cold the storms out there are, as long as you still choose to be on your own side, that fire will never truly die out. Growing up is when you begin to understand that life does not always go the way you want. When we are young, we often think life is very simple. We believe that if we try hard enough, everything will happen the way we hope. If we study hard, we will get good grades. If we behave well, we will be praised. If we run fast, we will reach the finish line. In a child's world, many rules seem very clear. If you try, you will get results. If you do the right thing, you will be recognized. But when we grow up, we start to realize that life does not work in such a simple way. The adult world has many more unexpected things. The economy can change and affect our financial decisions. A job can change even when we have tried our best. A relationship can break even when we were once very sincere. Our health can have problems at a time we did not expect. And plans that once seemed certain can also be delayed, changed, or broken because of reasons outside our control. You know, when we step into the adult world, we begin to face many things we never thought about before. Financial pressure, work, family, health, relationships, failures, broken plans, and even the lonely feeling of being responsible for our own life. There are days when we realize that making money is not easy. Keeping a relationship is not easy. Following a dream is not easy. And even keeping our heart peaceful in the middle of many changes is not easy. I say this not to make us feel more negative, but to help you look at life with more realistic and gentle eyes. Because a truly grown person does not become mature because life becomes easier. They become mature because they learn how to stay steady in the middle of difficult things. They can still feel tired. They can still feel sad. They can still have days when they feel lost and want to give up. But instead of letting those feelings pull them down, they learn to stop, take a deep breath, see things more clearly, and then slowly find a way to keep going. Growing up does not mean you no longer feel pain. Growing up means you know how to take care of yourself when you are in pain. It does not mean you are no longer afraid. It means you still keep going, even when you feel afraid inside. It does not mean you are always strong. It means that after every time you fall, you still choose to stand up again. Even if it is slower, even if it is softer, but you do not leave yourself behind. And maybe that is the meaning of the saying, grow through what you go through. We do not only go through difficult things, we grow from the things we have gone through. The truth is, we cannot always choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond, learn, and grow from it. There is an old lesson from Stoic philosophers that I always remember clearly. What makes people suffer is not always the event itself, but the way we see that event. This means that the same problem can break one person, but another person can use it to understand themselves better, become stronger, and change their direction. The difference is in the way we respond. And sometimes, our response to difficulty is what decides whether we stay hurt for a long time or grow from it. It is like a piece of iron that must go through hot fire and many hits before it can become a strong sword. If it only stays in its first shape, it may still be metal, but it is not sharp enough, not strong enough, and not ready to become something more valuable. The heat, the pressure, and the hard hits may seem painful, but they are the things that help shape it into something stronger. People are the same. Some challenges hurt us, make us tired, and make us feel like we cannot take it anymore. But through each challenge, we learn to be more patient, calmer, and stronger. And one day, when we look back, we may realize this. Without those days when life trained us through difficulty, maybe we would not have become the steady version of ourselves that we are today. But saying this does not mean we should make pain look like something perfect, or believe that if we suffer a lot, we will surely grow. In the past, I always used the saying, "No pain, no gain," as a guide for my personal growth. And honestly, it helped me a lot. But now, when I look back, I realize that not everyone who goes through pain will gain something from it. Some pain is so heavy that it can completely break a person and make them fall apart. You can think of a tree that needs wind to make its roots grow deeper. Gentle wind can help the tree become stronger. But if the storm is too strong, lasts too long, and there is no place to protect it, the tree may break before it has the chance to grow. People are the same. Some pressure can train a person and make them stronger, but some pressure is too heavy. It can make them exhausted, hurt them deeply, and even make them lose faith in themselves. So the lesson here is this. Difficulties can help us grow, but not every pain is worth enduring. Growing up does not mean forcing yourself to go through everything alone. Growing up also does not mean pushing yourself to be strong in every situation, even when you are already very tired inside. Sometimes growing up means learning the difference between a challenge that helps you grow and something that is slowly hurting you. Some difficulties come to train us, but there are also some environments, relationships, and pressures that, if they last too long, will not make us better. They will only make us slowly lose ourselves. And when something keeps hurting you, making you exhausted, afraid, or making you feel like you are no longer yourself, then leaving, resting, asking for help, or giving yourself time to heal is not weakness. It is a kind of courage. Because grow through what you go through does not mean you must endure everything until you break. It means you learn to grow from what you experience, but you are also wise enough to protect yourself on that journey. And for me, this is a very important part of growing up. Learning how to adapt without losing yourself. Because life will always change. People change. Work changes. Relationships change. Even our dreams can change in different seasons of life. If we keep holding on to an old way of thinking, an old way of reacting, or an old version of ourselves, we may easily become stuck in our own life. But adapting does not mean living in a fake way, pleasing everyone, or giving up the values that are important to us. For me, adapting means being clear enough to look at the present situation and ask yourself, is my old way of living still right for me? Does my old reaction still help me become better? Or is it time for me to learn a new way of thinking, a new skill, or a new attitude so I can keep going? There are seasons when life forces us to change. Not because the old version of us was wrong, but because that version is no longer enough to take us further. We cannot always carry the mind of a child into the adult world. We cannot always react with anger if we want to build healthy relationships. We cannot always run away from difficulties if we want to become stronger and more steady. So, I believe that growing up is not only about enduring what has happened. Growing up is about transforming it. It means using failure to learn more humility, using pain to learn better boundaries, using life's changes to become more flexible, deeper, and stronger. In the end, a mature person is not someone who never falls down. A mature person is someone who, after every fall, knows how to look back, adjust, change, and still keep the kindest part inside themselves. That is true adaptation. Not becoming another person just to survive, but becoming a better version of yourself so you can continue walking forward. So, if today you are still going through a difficult season, do not blame yourself too quickly for not becoming better right away. Slow down if you need to. Rest if you are tired. Learn when you are ready. And please believe that you do not need to be perfect to be worthy of love. Growing up should not be a pressure that makes you exhausted. It is a long journey of understanding yourself more deeply. Accept that there are days when you are very strong, but there are also days when you just want to rest. There are days when you can go very far, but there are also days when simply not falling apart is already a very big effort. So be kinder to yourself. Embrace the clumsy parts of you, the wrong choices you made, and the imperfect versions of yourself in the past and in the present. Because all of these things are also part of the journey of your growth. And maybe growing up does not mean becoming a perfect person. Growing up is when we learn to stay calmer when things do not go our way, treat ourselves with more kindness, and stand up again after every fall. Growing up is a very slow journey. From feeling lost, we slowly understand ourselves better. From pain, we learn how to heal. From weak moments, we learn to become a little stronger, step by step. And most importantly, growing up is when we no longer only ask, "Why did this happen to me?" Instead, we begin to gently ask, "What can this teach me?" Because grow through what you go through does not mean forcing yourself to bloom in every storm. It means allowing yourself to grow roots, to heal, and to grow at your own pace. And one day, when you look back, you will realize you did not only go through those things, you grew from them. And maybe this is the gentle reminder we all need. You are still growing, even on the days when you feel slow, tired, or unsure. I once had a friend from university. After graduation, for some reasons, this friend still did not receive the graduation certificate. And this made my friend feel deeply ashamed. While other friends started working, started making new plans, and started stepping into life after university, this friend went back to the hometown and almost stayed in the room all day. No desire to meet anyone, no desire to explain anything to anyone, and no motivation to think about what the next step should be. Just like that, 3 years passed. And I think sometimes what keeps a person in a painful place for a long time is not only a delay or a problem with a document. It is the feeling that you have been left behind by people your age. It makes us feel small. It makes us feel scared when we see everyone moving forward, while we are still standing in the same place. And it brings a quiet, painful feeling that maybe we have become a failure. But the truth is, we have not even truly started our life yet. The truth is, life outside does not always follow the plan we once made for ourselves. Some people study architecture, but later follow their dream of becoming a singer. Some people hold a bachelor's degree in their hands, and only then realize that they have a passion for becoming a good chef. Some people spend many years walking on one path, and in the end, they finally become honest enough to admit that they want a different life. When a big plan in life changes, it does not mean they have failed. Sometimes it is only a sign that you have grown up and understand yourself better than before. Being brave enough to let go of a path that no longer fits you is not moving backward. It is a choice. It may be the bravest step you take to start living a life that truly belongs to you. Let me tell you a true story. There was a boy who grew up in a small countryside area in Tuscany, Italy. Since he was very young, he loved music. Music was almost the thing that made his heart feel most comforted. But when he grew up, his path did not go straight into music, as many people might imagine. He studied law. He got a law degree, and he even worked as a lawyer for some time. From the outside, it may have looked like a very clear path. Study law, become a lawyer, and build a stable life. But sometimes life has another calling. After some time, he decided to turn to music. It was a choice that, by normal logic, could seem very risky. Because not everyone who leaves a stable path can know for sure that they will succeed on a new path. But he still kept going. And that boy later became one of the most famous tenor voices in the world. He is Andrea Bocelli. I tell this story not to say that everyone who changes direction will become famous. I tell it to remind myself that sometimes the first path we choose does not have to be the final path of our life. Some turns may look like we are going the wrong way at first, but later, when we look back, maybe that was the moment we started moving closer to the true calling inside us. Just like Andrea Bocelli could not know for sure, on the day he left law, what kind of life music would bring him. It was just that, at that stage, he was honest enough with himself to realize that the path of law was no longer the place where he belonged. And I think there is one very important thing to remember. When a plan falls apart, it is not always a special kind of bad luck that only happens to one person. In fact, it is a very natural part of life. Because when we make a plan, we usually build it based on what we know at that moment. We know what major we are studying. We know what job we want. We know what we hope will happen. But in real life, there are many changes that we cannot predict. Maybe the economy changes, maybe an opportunity comes later than we expected. Maybe a rule changes. Maybe someone we once trusted makes a different choice. Maybe a door we thought would surely open finally closes right in front of us. And sometimes, that change does not come from the outside. It comes from inside us. What we wanted so badly at the age of 20 may no longer make us happy at the age of 25. The path we once thought was certain may no longer fit the person we are becoming after a few years. A dream that once made us excited may one day start to feel unfamiliar. So when a plan does not happen the way we hoped, it does not mean we are weak. It also does not mean we have completely failed. It only means that life has brought in some new variables, things that the older version of us could not see, could not calculate, and could not fully prepare for. And when we look at it this way, maybe we can blame ourselves a little less. Instead of saying, "I am such a failure, I ruined everything," maybe we can be gentler with ourselves and say, "The old plan no longer fits the new situation. And now, I need to learn how to adjust." Because growing up is not about controlling everything. Growing up is realizing that there are many things we cannot fully control. But we can still choose how to respond, choose the next step, and choose not to turn one wrong turn into a life sentence. But saying this is much easier than doing it. Because when a plan that we gave our whole heart to falls apart, what we lose is not only the result. We also lose trust in ourselves. In that painful moment, we begin to doubt our past choices. We ask ourselves, was I wrong from the beginning? Was I too naive? Am I not good enough, not lucky enough, not worthy enough? And those questions make us feel even more afraid. They make us want to hide from the outside world. Because if we once believed so much in a plan, tried so hard for it, and it still fell apart in the end, how can we dare to believe in a new plan? How can we dare to trust ourselves one more time? I think the answer is not to force ourselves to be strong immediately. It is also not to force ourselves to have a big new plan to replace the old one. Maybe the first step is simply to admit this. I am carrying a very big sadness. I am sad because I truly tried. I am sad because I hoped so much. I am sad because the happy future I imagined has disappeared. And that sadness does not mean I am weak. It only proves that I once truly cared. I once gave my heart to something. And my life once had a meaningful chapter, when I tried my best for that plan for a very long time. After that, instead of asking, how can I fix my whole life? Maybe I only need to ask a smaller question. Today, what is one very small thing I can do so I do not abandon myself? In fact, both science and spirituality tell us something very similar. When life feels too messy, do not try to control the whole future. When we start taking one small and clear action, the brain begins to feel again, I can still do something. Self-trust does not come back only through positive thinking. It comes back through small evidence. When you send an email to look for a new job, when you clean one corner of your room and start reading some documents, when you pick up your phone and ask your friends if they know any job opportunities that may be right for you. In real life, we cannot always see the whole path ahead clearly. There are times when life only shows us one small step in front of us, and our job is not to force everything to become clear immediately. Our job is to take that step with awareness, humility, and trust that life is still guiding us through each small step. If you force yourself to find a new 3-year or 5-year plan right away, you may feel overwhelmed and fall down again. At that moment, what you need is not an answer to everything immediately. What you truly need is to find again the feeling that you can still move forward. That is the meaning of trusting the next step. When you learn to trust each small next step, you slowly take back control of your present life. When you are trapped in heavy and negative thoughts, your fear will grow bigger and bigger, and it may slowly drown you. For example, if I create a podcast channel and it fails, trusting the next step does not mean I have to force myself to believe that one day the channel will surely become famous. It also does not mean I have to make a big plan right away to save everything. Sometimes, trusting the next step simply means having enough courage not to say that I am useless, just because one thing I did has not succeeded. Maybe the next step is to sit down and look again. Which episode truly touched the listeners? Which topic I spoke about with my whole heart? Which opening was not strong enough, and what I can do better in the next episode? Maybe the next step is only to rewrite one title, record one opening again, learn one small skill, post one more episode, or give myself a few days to rest and get my energy back. Then return with a clearer mind. Because the failure of one project is not the failure of my whole self. Or like my friend, who felt ashamed and could not find a job because the graduation certificate had not been received yet. For this friend, trusting the next step does not mean forcing the self to become confident immediately, to have a stable career right away, or to prove to everyone that they are not behind anyone. No. The next step can be much smaller than that. Maybe it is opening the documents again and checking what papers are still missing. Maybe it is calling the university once. Maybe it is rewriting the CV based on the real skills they have, instead of only looking at the certificate they have not received yet. Maybe it is applying for one small job first. Maybe it is texting one trusted person and saying, "I am stuck. Can you help me look at this again?" And even though these steps are very small, they are not meaningless at all. Because each small action is a reminder to yourself, I have not given up yet. I am still here. I can still do something for my life. That is what trusting the next step really means. It is not blindly believing that everything will become better tomorrow. It is believing that even if life gives me very hard lessons today, I still have enough trust in myself to keep moving forward. Even if the old plan has fallen apart, the fire inside you can still keep burning. There is a famous Japanese saying, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8. And I think the beautiful part of this saying is not in the numbers 7 or 8. The beautiful part is in the spirit behind it. Life may make us fall many times, but we can still choose not to let one fall become the end of our story. And as long as you can still take one more step, it means your story does not end here. Today's episode is not here to say that everything that happens is easy to accept. It is also not here to say that if we just think positively, we will be okay. Today's episode is only a reminder for those who feel that life is not going according to plan. For those who feel slower than others, more lost than others, or stuck at one point for too long. If you are in a season like that, I truly hope you do not rush to believe that your life is broken. Maybe you have not arrived yet. Maybe the old plan has fallen apart. Maybe today you still do not know where to start again. But you are still here, and that alone means your story is not over yet. So please do not force yourself to see the whole future right now. You only need the next step. One small step, one real step, one kind enough step, so you do not abandon yourself today. And I hope that no matter what you are going through, you can still keep a little bit of faith in your heart. That you can still learn again, fix things again, start again, and move forward again. Slowly is okay, as long as you do not stay forever in the place that hurt you. If you want to hear more stories about growing up and finding inner peace, please check out the channel's playlist so we can continue this journey together. Thank you for staying until the very last seconds. I truly wish that no matter what winter of life you are facing, you will always find a summer warm enough inside you to bravely keep walking forward. See you in the next podcast episode.